Investing in a fertile future is the only way to feed the world's fast-growing population. By 2050, our Earth will have 9 billion people. Experts predict a steadily growing demand for grains, dairy, bioenergy, and meat products. Yet we can't simply increase the size of the Earth or create extra farmland to grow all the cereals, animal feedstuffs, fuels and fibres that present and future generations will need. So to resolve this global challenge, the world's farmers must be facilitated to do a lot more at the same playing field. That primarily means boosting the productivity of existing farmland. We need more efficient and more sustainable use of scarce resources. Meeting the world's food security needs demands investments, yet in the farming sector, that's been sorely lacking. The United Nations calculates that over $80 billion needs to be invested every year, or double what's being spent today. In today's marketplace, investments are clearly lagging behind growth. So the moment is right for investors to help assure our global food security. These global dynamics and positive trends make investing in rural resources and primary agricultural production a sound financial choice, contributing to and creating real economic value. And it's a responsible and truly sustainable choice too. Investing to raise the efficiency, productivity and profitability of farming will help to increase agricultural production with more efficient use of valuable farm inputs. Rabo Farm is not a rural producer, but an investment manager. We channel much-needed financial resources into the agricultural sector. Our mission is to create and manage funds delivering profitable returns for all stakeholders, from investors to farmers, and always with a long-term vision and responsible stewardship at the heart of our products and our strategy. Our investments in improvement are designed to increase agricultural production in rural areas. We focus on the upgrading of land, on modernising infrastructure, on education and sharing of best practice among farmers. With this focus on long-term improvement, Rabo Farm is committed to helping meet the global challenge of feeding the world. Our origins are in Rabo Bank, the world's leading food and agribusiness bank. Rabo Bank is one of the world's 10 safest banks, and it has over a century of heritage with strong farm cooperative roots. And because Rabo Farm is so closely aligned with Rabo Bank's expertise in food and agribusiness, our combined knowledge ensures that these investments will be planted in fertile ground. Rabo Bank acknowledges a direct link between its own focus on bank financing, the global food chain, and Rabo Farm's equity investment strategy. Rabo Farm's task is to apply this heritage and expertise at an operational level.
The global challenge that we actually see ahead of us is obviously the combination of an increasing population, a changing diet, whilst land availability is stagnant and the increase or improvement of efficiency has slowed down over the last decades. Food prices have fallen and have disallowed investments in the food infrastructure. I think at this time we are seeing a strong need to change that. We need to invest in agricultural assets and invest in farming. The Rabo Farm model is actually very focused on increasing production whilst reducing resources, making it more efficient. So ultimately, if we make our production more efficient, we certainly will be able to allow for more food at the right places and allow higher efficiency, lower waste, and actually higher education and understanding of what's going on around farms. Rabo Farm will contribute directly to what the food safety and food security is asking of us at this stage. On the food safety side, it is having a better control of what's being produced at farm level. At the food security level, it is producing more with the same or less resources.
We make long-term equity investments in productive farms located in a range of key and potentially emerging agricultural markets. In the case of Rabo Farm Europe Fund, we work with partners to invest in underperforming farms across Central and Eastern Europe. The goal is to close the gap in productivity between these investments and Europe's top-performing farms. As these farms are improved, they are leased out to rural producers. In fact, the vast majority of our leases are signed to local farmers. On the farm, we start with the earth itself. Soil is a living organism whose fertility depends on the right balance between the different nutrient components. pH, along with macro and micronutrient indices, must be kept in balance. On Central and Eastern European properties, Rabo Farm has initiated an ongoing extensive program of lime applications to increase the pH of degraded farmland. Next, modern farm machinery cannot give its best on old farms, where the field system sometimes dates back to the days of the horse and cart. Reforming the field area reduces fuel consumption, increases yields with lower inputs, and makes efficient irrigation techniques possible. Modern water management also calls for the clearing of existing ditches, the digging of new ones, and installation of underground drainage pipes to regulate water levels with the aim to decrease overall farming risks and increase yields per hectare. Efficient modern farms need a support infrastructure of barns, silos, and storage buildings. Preventing loss of harvest is another major factor that can contribute to increasing food security and more income for our farmers and investors. Often, that means removing outdated buildings and building new farm bases. At every stage, Rabo Farm experts and advisors work closely with farmers on improvements to add value and optimize production, while respecting our strong commitment to conservation, to local biodiversity, and to the environment. Our investment partners see these rural resources and primary agricultural production as a highly attractive asset class that helps them diversify financial risk and create real value. At the same time, investors can play an important role in contributing to sustainability and generating a positive and responsible social impact. These days, environmental, social and governance issues are just as important to investors as they are to Rabo Farm.
Yeah, I think investors have an important role to play. For one, because the sector requires a lot of capital. A lot of investment is needed in the agriculture, in the food sector. So I think that's an important role for investors to play. At the same time, I want to stress that it's also important, especially in this sector, that we invest responsibly. I mean, that's always important, but there are specific issues to deal with, like water scarcity and the likes. We have also a policy specifically focused on ESG factors, and ESG stands for environmental, social and governance factors. What we do within PGGM is that we take those factors into account in every step of the investment process. What we expect from external managers is that they take account of the effects of their actions on society and on nature, and Rabo Farm does justice to both. Another aspect is that they've signed the principles for responsible investing in farmland. Those principles have been designed by a number of institutional investors, including PGGM, and we encourage our managers to sign those and to live those. Rabo Farm has been able to work with local communities, and from that perspective it also works in a good way to be sustainable.
To address the coming global challenges of population growth and pressure on our natural resources, Rabo Farm is clearly focused on improvements for the agricultural sector. We are certain that better farms mean more food, better food, and a better future for all humanity. It is our mission to bring some of the Earth's most precious assets back to the levels of efficiency and productivity they deserve. Investing in a fertile future is the Rabo Farm commitment.